deal room. I think I'm looking at it. Folks, I want to thank you all for being here, particularly since I said Morocco is about to play as the first African nation in the semifinals of the World Cup. Distinguished heads of state, leaders of regional and global institutions, and of course, representatives of more than 300 companies, African and American. Welcome to Washington. And I want to recognize our co-hosts, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the Corporate Council of Africa, two great champions for building and growing ties of business and trade and investment between Africa and the United States, as well as the members of my administration and the members of Congress who are here today. All the members of Congress, please stand up if you're here so I can identify who you are. There's the man. All right, I'm sure you're out there somewhere. Look, this forum is about building connections. It's about closing deals, and above all, it's about the future, our shared future. We've known for a long time that Africa's success and prosperity is essential to assuring a better future for all of us, not just for Africa. I've been engaged in these issues going back to my days as a young man in the United States Senate. When I was on the Foreign Relations Committee, I was chairman of the African Affairs Subcommittee and got to spend a lot of time in Africa. I visited almost all of your countries. When I was vice president serving with President Obama, we hosted the first U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit, including U.S.-Africa Business Forum. We saw so clearly the enormous potential that we could harness if we did it together. And holding the first of its kind summit in 2014 was a watershed moment to cement new kinds of partnerships between our nations. Partnerships not to create political obligation, not or foster dependence, but to spur shared success. And I emphasize shared success and opportunity. Because when Africa succeeds, the United States succeeds. Quite frankly, the whole world succeeds as well. Now, 8 years later, the world has undergone a great many changes.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of the program we call Koreans Right on YouTube and on Facebook. And also we can look at different issues them where they come out from the different newspaper them for the morning. But today we're not get paper them, but we can discuss issue them. We actually get Alphonsus Bani and they expect for get inside the program again Melvin Tijan Mansaye. We will join we inside the program. Or rather, another person will come and replace them. But the producer they work on them because it's time for fix out the particular things and they. Well, inside the program right now, I want to bring in Alphonsus Bani. We are the boss or the head man for Human Rights Defenders Network. We don't join me inside the program this morning. Mr. Bani, good morning and welcome to Koreans.
Good morning. And good morning, listeners and viewers.
Okay, so this is the very first program, Koreans, after we Julius Maada don't get in second term in office, for lead and rule and the people of Sierra Leone. So it's a way of what kind of feeling we the one they send right now as you see them and they reflect on the last 5 years.
Well, I think in the first place, now people then decide. The people that then decide say they want the president for continue in second term because the decision of the votes is based on the overwhelming numbers where it gets for rule the country. So it does suggest a majority of the people of this country give them another opportunity for go into a second term. So it left now for me to see what he do in terms of in governance system, the lessons that we don't learn maybe from in previous 5 years, the mistakes, the successes, the challenges, how it will turn some of those mistakes and challenges into reality or in a way where you go make the people their livelihoods become more sustainable, and how it will translate down there for make the country become more cohesive more united. And so the whole thing they left with as a government, as a president, and government will get for set. And they get for decide for see whether in previous governments the ministers they will appoint, whether some of them they really do their job or if they just appoint them because some them do a favor to run, some them na party or some them what itself as been talking now a state media that it go only give us appointment post way sabi. And in governance, not to post way sabi, na post way qualify as long as na a national of this country. So we think say a need for redirect and change in strategy and even in response to public concerns.
Okay, so I love the word where you start with. You say it shows that the people want them again because that are the vote of the people. And when you look at the way how the results come out, you look at the concerns of observers them, and look at how the whole process been tally. You think the election being free and fair, transparent, free and fair?
Well, from my own understanding of the word free, fair, and transparent, basically, if you talk about fairness and if free, as long as they not stop you for go votes, because the key principle of fairness and the free in elections, now way and the electorate, the voter, get the freedom and the right for go cast in votes. The moment they impede you for cast your votes, then will they classify and make that election become questionable for say enough free, enough fair. Now, is it fair for the political parties conduct? That is a different thing. So if they talk about fairness in terms of how the parties themselves, among themselves, then go relate or do their campaign, I go talk say that is questionable. We not see much fairness in terms of how other parties therefore exercise their rights to campaign in other areas of the current ruling party. But in terms of fairness and free for the voters, we not notice any suggestion, anything they suggest that the ECSL as a state institution responsible for the conduct of elections don't deny eligible voters for go votes, except where we think say isolated cases them. Some people don't even them be registered, their names are not there. But in general terms, we not record any information where they suggest that those isolated cases don't get the way for even undermine the outcome of the election as we don't say so.
But that again contributes to the number of people that will not vote, and that's the responsibility of the ECSL as well. And of course, then disenfranchise a lot of people, like you rightly don't say, even when they get and sleep them, but at the end of the day, they don't allow them for vote.
Yeah, well, some they get their sleep, but because the name, because the prime, I'm talking a medium. It is not about your voter ID card. So why people they go and holler, hey, my voter ID card not got a picture. That is not the issue. The issue is, it is the voter register. You can get your voter ID card if you name not in that voter register. There is no way you can vote. So if you name the omitter from that voter register, then it means say ECSL either by simple omission or by a deliberate act, then disenfranchise you. And that now issue we yet get for established after the election, after the post-election initiative where they engage ECSL. Why make some people the name not inside the voter register? So then we explain to you.
All right, so I'll come back to Regis. We'll continue for David to inside the program. Let's ask, we next guest we don't join inside the program, David Johnson. Welcome to the show. All right, I think you struggle with the line. David, the struggle. David, did you get me? David? David, did you get me?
I know they get you clear.
Oh, I don't know why they get me clear. But okay. I don't know why exactly. I think the network they fight with you seriously. You get me now? Oh, we really let forget. David, you get me?
Yeah, they get you. They get you.
Ah, perfect, perfect. So welcome to the program this morning.
Very well. Welcome to. How you dey do?
Ah, tell God thank you. Are you safe?
Fine.
Okay, so let me go straight off. Maada don't get a second chance again in office as the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone, and then Don swam yesterday after we ACSL declare with 56 point something percent of the total number of votes cast, valid votes cast. So when you hear that kind of result and then you reflect back the last 5 years of Julius Maada being in office, whose feelings will that bring to you?
Yeah. Actually, this na a particular time we we look up to the president as the re-elect him back. We look up to him for let it go change the narrative, because in past 5 years it not be look good in the eyes of Sierra Leoneans, in the eyes of many Sierra Leoneans. So we look forward for the time food say that will come into reality as he promised the people of Sierra Leone.
Okay, we been listening to Alphonsus Bani. We basically tell you about this shows that the majority of the people actually feel say they forgive them the second chance. Amidst even where you get a lot of concerns from let's take out to political party from the election observers them like the EU, the Carter Center, AU and ECOWAS. You as well get other people there's a lot of concern with regards to the process where they highlight say we get a lot of secrecy, lack of transparency, lack of trust in the process. All of them they call for the results reflect the will of the people, but it happened that way. We see even in the swearing ceremony, the diplomats and we not see them in the presence, and we see you start in the tweet and say none of them are able to endorse yet that particular result there. So waiting this gets for we in the basket for the next 5 years.
Yes, in the issue of the concerns and the bottleneck way we surround the electoral process, yes, it is true, because the electoral process itself it gets a lot of issues. Some people and them get a voter ID card, some their name not begin at the voter register. So and we get a report of certain side and the way some people then disallow them for letting them vote. So the issues of people them for exercise their franchise in some polling stations in some parts of the country we are denied. But let me say generally the process was free and fair. The process was free and fair, although we get some isolated incidents then will happen, some violence will happen in some polling stations, because we get some allegations we come up like in hill stations. We see there is an issue of ballot stuffing. So all of the issues then they come. Then the opposition self be getting concerns. And waiting we be the expect from ECSL for that address all the concerns then we various especially the main political parties, the main opposition political parties we get for before ever then call the result. But let me say, in my own honest opinion, the process generally, because we look at generally the process was free and fair, and but the in terms of the with the tabulations of the results, the oppositions raised concerns, say some of them party agents they not be there in the process, and that is, and some of them concerns them, some of the observers, them, the international observers, them raise. So, but now the die has been cast and everything, the ECSL has blown the whistle. So waiting me the advice for the APC accept the result and use the legal means, use the legal channel, whatever concerns they get, whatever objections they get, let them challenge if with evidence, if they get whatever concerns, whatever they get, let them challenge them through the legal means. So as ECSL don't do their own part, as the legally mandated institutions will get the right to announce results, then don't do their own part. So whatever concerns any political party gets, with their advice, for the sake of the peace of the country, with the advice that they use the legal route for address, so that they will seek redress for their concerns them.
Okay, so look at this thing, for example. You say, let the opposition accept the results, but at the same time, you ask them, say, if they get concerned, let them go under the legal system. In other words, they don't go to court. So how possible accept, then they go to court again?
No, accept in a sense, then the ECSL, there is no way. ECSL, nine are the mandated institutions for announce the result. So if we say that they resist, if the opposition say that they resist, it creates more tension. So for the sake of peace, this is my underlying statement. For the sake of peace, yes, as it is now, they can say, yeah, they don't accept. But for the sake of peace, they talk to them, supporters them, let them remain calm, and they use the legal channel for address all and concerns them. And that's how they say it.
All right, so let me look at several other reports. This one for you, Alfonso. You did for the Human Rights Defenders Network, and you did look at a lot of human rights issues. Them as they announced the results, we don't hear a lot of issues them from we reporters them all over the country. You know, where for example in Kenema alone, they born one person, 3 hours for 1 green person in Kenema. You know, and we see a lot of threats them again from the same Kenema as the rights that people that host them. We hear of others that with them born another host again. You know, like, you know, a lot of violence they go on around the country right now. You know, people them they beat people them. You know, we see a video of PZ, for example, side and go and book a lot of people them. You know, the market people they table them. You know, so as a Human Rights Defenders Network, you know, what do you think of all of them things there? So we, you know, they happen, you know, and we get a police officer, or the police force, we as well responsible for taking care of some of them things. And so what do you make up of that? Because in normal circumstances, we can see the police, you know, they take prompt action, you know, at some points in some cases them. So, but in this, we know any case of who the police make arrest from where you reported them yesterday.
It's a sad situation, and we don't make this kind of conduct. We don't make it normal now with society, and it don't become part of we now. It left with Parliament for legislate laws for ensure say crimes should when they commit during election, before, during, and after elections, na crime. Electoral violence. Na crime, and people not for do with impunity or not to be punished. We don't make an out say electoral violence not to criminal action. Now a normal thing. Now so don't take from elections. Have anybody will win. Once you win, your opposition you go attack them. It becomes normal. It already don't normalize, and it don't become like a norm now. So when you win, you want win like your opposition, you go attack them, you go scot free. That don't happen, and this don't happen in all the 2 major political parties when they control governance system. We don't condemn them. The 2018, we condemn them, and if you look, we report in the 2018 elections. Before the elections, the SLPP government, when they were in opposition, the time of APC, they were the victim. APC had been the perpetrator at that time before the 2018 general elections. The day when they conduct their election, the 2018, where they announced Maada as president-elect at that time for 2018, before they assumed in seat as president. The SLPP would have been victim they don't automatically transform to perpetrators in less than 8 hours. They don't commit atrocities way more than almost the 5 years, or equally to the same period where APC began existence. So it don't tell you, see, when you get the seat of presidency, your party can commit crime with impunity. It don't happen. SLPP that with APC, and it continue, and it's not supposed to be so. And we will never put law for make that kind of thing happen. The whole political parties accountable. We criminalize that kind of conduct. My brother, with the document, with they present the information, the police will never prosecute because the ruling party now they see continue, now they dictate. If now be opposition member, they go burn the winning party in house. As we talk now, therefore don't they did behind bars. They don't. In case they don't even begin to push as far. But it is because now the ruling party, now we your members there, now we your supporters there, then they exercise. They will not even come out for condemn. They not going to make, even by hypocrites, for still go arrest them, for go lock them in a cell, for at least for convince the opposition say will they take action. They will not do that. So it don't become normal. It is painful, it is disheartening, it's disgusting, but they don't make it normal. The political leadership then, they don't take it normal. Once you don't win, you get the rights for commit crime with impunity, and nobody will take the cause. But what will they do? And the president will go and set, will they gather all those evidences? We are in the police, we see say they don't take action. Okay, take up to the ECOWAS court. There are a lot of cases who don't take to the ECOWAS court when they hold the government accountable. And so if the government don't take action, and not see any reason if you win, the opposition for go burn in house. That man will go burn in house. What he get for do? Not to the party go building house. So why for go burn in house? If he even tell you what, if you want you go through the due process. My brother Anna now, when they talk just now, they don't talk say if the opposition feel aggrieved, let them go to court. So it's the ruling party they tell una say if APC feel aggrieved of this election, therefore go on the rampage. Now the message then they tell una say when they win, they go burn people in the house. So if APC lost, they're not glad, therefore go attack people there. That's the message the ruling party they tell we now. If they not take action, if they tell we say the opposition not get right for going to court, let's say for take the law at their hand.
So you go get for big kangaroo.
That's the wrong message. It will not good at all, and it will undermine the security of the state. And we don't want to see that kind of situation in this country. Okay. So they encourage the ruling party and the SLP for take appropriate action, bring the one they were responsible for doing them to book and hold them accountable.
Yeah. Okay. David, what did this would mean for the peace and stability of the country? What did this would mean for the unity, the award inside the country? What did this would mean, for that mix where we normally can mix? Because on that very day where we see a fact from the very first time when they announced the partial result, we begin to see things then they happen. What did this would mean for the country in development?
This not mean good for the country in development and the peace and tranquility of the country. Waiting at the advice, especially the ruling, like when my brothers say, it has been a norm. Nothing wait on the happen for successive elections in this country. Yeah. But we expect this current government for change that narrative. Whatever it is, it has been done. And we'd expect whatever violence, the government for come out clearly and condemn them. And whosoever is involved in those violence, let they arrest them, let the law take in course. And we expect the police, the security apparatus, for comport themselves and for behave in a professional manner. And this particular time, a critical time in this country. And if a ruling party supporters, they go after opposition supporters in house or go after, but it's not good for this country. We expect, especially because the ruling government now then gets a control of the security of the security of this country. So we expect them for come out, and we expect also the opposition for come out with a press release. And that is, I make how they say, for talk to the supporters and say, una for remain calm and we expect the ruling government, because this is a time where the opposition supporters them very angry. So we expect both parties and the securities, especially the peace of this country rests in the hands of the security. So we expect them to behave professionally. This is not critical time. Now that's what they expect them. So we don't expect them to go on the rampage and go after people. Yes, there is going to be a dissatisfaction. People are not there for because the expectations has been otherwise. So we expect them to behave professionally and discharge their duty without fear and favor. And everybody were involved in violence, let them prosecute them to the latter. And that's what they expect from the police.
We find out the divide in the country that like every day they tranga, every day they intensify, every day it is strong, amongst the people, especially along political lines. Where we see say that again now one or half of the reason them contributing factor again, where the government be focused on seriously, where make certain things and they're not able to do them, seriously. So now we don't go again to the second term, with the same president, with the same government, and with the same type of people again, and more things than they happen. People they see themselves now like enemies rather than seeing themselves like say Leoneans and like brothers and sisters. And this will get foretell on the development of the country, because we see, for example, at some point where the government they try to make the lights, the electricity business, we see people in the court to cable them, and now that this thing done, this bad blood, this thing done the day inside people in mind, serious one, what in the government, okay, like what in the president need for do for make sure say he as the father of the nation. Whether you like him or not, he's the father of the nation for now. They don't make him again. They don't announce that. They don't declare the president. What in he need for do as a president? Because at some point we can see, the president can listen to certain people. We go tell them say, you get for behave like lion, you're not lion. You get for behave like soldier, you're not soldier. What in this time around we need for make the country get together?
The president therefore think about the peace, because peace, when you think about the peace, the aggrieved party you get for embrace them, being and come closer to you, and think about reconciling the country, because the country. But we get several approach. That is why we get the peace commission, and at this particular time we expect the peace commissions for play the role as a peace commission, not a peace commission that is biased, not a peace commission that is one-sided. We expect them to play a role as a peace commission.
Because you're very correct. But at some point, with the civil side, like the peace commission, for example, they speak like politicians, or they speak like government rather than speaking, like that person way ready for embrace everybody in the country and not consider them for be one part of the political party.
That is the problem where, that is the issue where some of we they call say we need for vets the membership of the peace commission. The peace commission for be an inclusive, and if for be an inclusive, if for be people them will not get affiliated with political parties. So we need somebody people them way independent. And when you get such kind of people in a peace commission, you then sure say the peace they reign in the country. But when you get certain people who already get a political alignment, that is what you are expecting. So at this particular time, we are expecting the peace commission as a commission for ensure that peace go reign in the country. We expect, especially right now, we expect say that they don't do their work, then groundwork, and for they do send them the observers and the members them out there for they assess the security situation of the country right now. We know they expect for let them sit down and they post flyers, not to end they maintain the peace of this country now. This is a critical time. This is a critical time where we need them for go out there, go and talk to everybody so far. Yes, people them not go for gladdy. People are not going for gladdy because some people will be don't look at the elections in a different eye, then we expect say the other side go win. But now ECSL don't decide. So this is the situation. So we expect the peace commission to play a pivotal role for restore the peace of this country and ensure say all the one them way because waiting back the IT in detentions because I'm doing campaign term, they will arrest some opposition. And then the fear is now where SLPP don't win so. The fear is opposition people them then they not get then the fear. Say then therefore go after them because some people the way we don't show themselves outrightly. Then the fear say then therefore go after them. And the Peace Commission need for come out with a statement because now President Bio is in charge. President Bio is in charge now. So we expect the Peace Commission because the peace of this country is in their hands. It's in the hands of the Peace Commission because them now a commission was set up for create national cohesion, for reconcile this country. So we expect also the president for make strong statements, for say, for talk to his supporters them, as the elections in slogan say, if you win, enjoy serve food. If you lost, not provoke, they say the party will win, not provoke you the one way lost into anger. So we expect the president for call, we all now one. Now Salon win. Whether you didn't have that other political party, whether you didn't have this, we expect the president for preach a message of peace and call everybody on board. Say this is a Sierra Leone we have, and this is Sierra Leone where we no one tear this country apart. We did the peace of this country. So the president need for make a statement, a reconciliatory statement for calling everybody for remain calm and for talk to his supporters then. Because
and this now exactly what myself been expect yesterday when it making speech after when they don't swear in. And be need for come out very strong and tell in your particular supporter and say on a need for stop some of the things them way with the AE because not that they're not the AE, not that they're not the C, then the AE, then the C, all of the things them really happen. And it be need for them come out very strong yesterday because they say the first step where you begin with, then they make you turn 1,000 miles, yeah? So, what do you start with? Now, they determine what you ready for do. But if you not pay great attention to that, they on your very first speech, were very, very, very important for the country in progress, you like just jump and pass over them, then it speaks volume.
Now, if I not say now, it's not a political candidate. It's not a candidate. It's a father of the nation. He has been re-elected according to NEC.
Yes.
And now in statements not for be based on political line. If for be on how for unite the country, how peace for reign the country. And that's what they expect them. And yesterday when I swear in, I be expect them say if I make statement, we go bring the country together.
Yeah.
We go make even if the other side feel aggrieved, the arch will calm down and for think about the bigger picture when are the peace of this country.
All right, Mr. Bani, what do you self make up of this? Especially, you don't highlight several points then, but the statement of the president for me don't be more detailed on the area of this unity and the area of this non-violence thing. Maybe I might be wrong. What do you think?
Well, I not really analyze the president in statement because if you want to swear in, I be the drive, they come McKinney. I know if you don't download, they don't send them. I not download them for make a read and see and analyze because normally those statements, now statements that we as human rights defenders we can analyze and make we own opinion on the president in statement, whether the statement they unite the people of this country, whether the statement they give a reconciliatory message to the people of this country, or whether the statements they set the pace for a second governance approach. And so those are the things, but I not want to speak to the statement because I be the drive they come McKinney, as we talk now McKinney at the show. I not get the time yet for, in fact, now today I be just want to use that day for rest. Now we wanna call me this morning, make a grab for just make a conversation. So I'm not even get time for go through the statement. But what I will always say is that in elections, the only people that will get the mandate of a country for revenge, for attack a government, are the citizens. And how the citizens then they revenge or attack a government, then they do them through the ballot box. Now, if the people of this country don't decide, say, Maada bill, we all don't give you a second chance for rule this country for another 5 years. What would they expect now for Maada bill? Now, two things for a governance system. One, a national cohesion. Two, now development. A government not the can revenge or attack in opposition because now government. And you know the wrong government, you run a private entity or a business. A business that you own individual, because you can broke your host, you go broke your host. But government, you can't do that one day. Like somebody go broke government building, or last year I go broke government motoka. Government will go broke or go burn your motoka again. Government they use the law. And so government no they ever revenge. What in government they do, now the maintenance of law and order, development, and unite the people of this country. So they expect say the second time of Maada bill, it will really ensure say a flagship program we been do for the first 5 years, which in government will come for address three key things. They say lawlessness, indiscipline, and corruption. Throughout in presidency, I will be very honest with you, I not see they're able to address the issue of lawlessness. Because lawlessness, even to the highest degree, even now in office, the office of the presidency. Because if ministers they conduct themselves in a lawless manner, now the office of the president don't become lawless. And so we give that mandate for a second time for make it do a thorough reflection. When you as a president they give a second mandate, you get another activity you go put on. Apart from unifying the country, making development, the third way you go do now is now for do a reflection of your past conduct and action as a president. What if you don't do we go wrong? What you need for correct? What you been do will be right, but you need for strengthening, so that the country will move on. And that we expect from the current president now. We don't go back in second time, we don't get a second mandate. So me they really discuss the issue from that perspective until I go through a statement, in swearing statement, then I go able to be in a position for really give a critical analysis of who your position as human rights defenders on the statement of the president, where he make with them the swear in. But I will fall short for say anything on that because I not read, I not listen, and I not think I will get the authority for saying anything where I'm not properly informed on that.
Okay. So now going forward, you know, in as much as the 12th one I don't say the result say now that's the people them really want, and that's not the will of the people. But one of the biggest, you know, or the biggest, let us say one, the biggest, you know, local election observation mission or organization inside the country, that the National Elections Watch. We first of all agree say for Salona are the biggest. With regards to the network and all, Mr. Bani, you agree with that or not?
Pardon?
You
Come
agree,
again?
for example, say new now the biggest, you know, election, you know, organization inside the country right now?
On elections?
Yes, election.
Yeah, yeah, because now they do with elections. They are
Okay.
not focused.
So what about you, David?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So now let us talk about this. This from the day one knew the contest, the result where, you know, ECSL they bring come out. What do you make up of this? Even now they don't publish, you know, the latest, you know, data we then get where they show how inconsistent the electoral commission the results tally. What do you make up of this?
I go really first short for really talk about the content of the statement, the data or whatsoever. And I go just talk in the general term because new as an institution, then are human rights defenders. Me, the primary responsibility now for protect human rights defenders and guide the system. The only thing I will say in a general term, civil society organizations, we are not political parties. Mm-hmm. Civil society or human rights defenders are not political parties. Mm-hmm. We are not parallel to state institutions. Mm-hmm. We do work for support government. We work for and on behalf of the marginalized communities. We are not replacing the government.
So you say for stand by the marginalized community.
Exactly.
Good. I like that.
The marginalized people. People the way no get with the voice. Government they will listen to them, but if we raise the voice, government they listen to that voice who they raise on for and on their behalf.
Okay.
So
I love some words the way you actually come up with say civil society organization they're not there for a place,
not a political party.
Yeah, not a political party. But in the case of waiting new they do right now, so for stand up and say this thing not correct and this now we see
at the camp. We are not looking at the correctness of a vote cast or not a vote cast. With responsibility as civil society organizations or human rights defenders is to look at the process, the legality itself, the authority, the institution will get the authority for talk say I not agree with this result. Now political party, not we contest. We do not contest election. Human rights defenders don't contest election against any other political party. What would they look at is people then go vote. They allow people then for vote. They count the people then vote. We get the right for
and you say if they count the people they vote, that's not exactly what you talk to.
Allow me.
Yes, please. You say if they count the people they vote. So if waiting new they say now they count the people they vote, but it not reflect that.
Now
not get right to that.
Now listen to me. Get me position well. With responsibility. If they not count people then vote, you go know exactly. Because if you get a polling station, we get 300 voters and for go register and for go vote on that particular polling station day, and people then go vote, then they can't talk say now 10 people then vote today. That don't tell you say you don't even go need for go begin calculate. You know say straight they not count their votes.
Okay.
That is obvious. I tell you, my brother, me they tell you from the human perspective. Now that area they look at. Not to responsibility for go begin count. We get a role for play. We can do predictions. People then can predict. I can talk say the way we look at this analysis, the way we don't analyze the demographic of this election, the voting pattern and everything, we go predict say there could be runoff. But if I can't talk say there must be a runoff, I want to make you understand there's a difference between prediction and there's a difference between making a certified statement of a situation where they suggest say, I'm running a parallel electoral conduct, which not to me a role as human rights defenders. And so I don't want to go into the content of new then position. I just to give you a general overview or role for we as human rights defenders or as civil society organization. We there for speak even for and on behalf of other political parties. If they feel aggrieved, we raise their voice. If APC say they get concerned as a party of ABCD, we raise the voice for tell the government say you need to listen to the concerns of the opposition. Because without the opposition, you can't get a very good governance. And so for ensure that, but we cannot speak, like say, we put yourself in the shoes of the opposition.
Okay.
That's not correct.
Okay.
You don't go talk as if they feel the pinch.
Yeah. Actually, I want to clear this before I go to your question with regards the president in statement yesterday. The president in statement yesterday, he make them very clear. He call on a main challenger when Samoa Kamara for join hands with him and for that they come together and talk about election is over and call on the other side for let them embrace for the peace and unity of this country. So if we make them very clear, what here they say is that this time around, because the oppositions, the position where they now, they're not listening to the president. So we expect the Peace Commission for come out with a statement and a statement for reconcile, a statement for peace and unity. Then coming to the new projections where they make. before the pronouncement of the results by ECSL boss. Actually, we get to understand the roles of a civil society, because we get to understand new na a civil society organizations, and then mandate then gets the role as a civil society now for observe the process and report. And NEC, we get NEC where now then legally the constitution give the right for conduct elections and announce the results.
Yeah.
So that projection where you make before the pronouncement of the results, the presidential results by the ECSL boss, it creates some amount of tension, in my own honest opinion. Waiting will be the expect from new, because now the projection not they in line with waiting ECSL come out with. So waiting will be the expect from new, whether they have the data, whether they have anything contrary to waiting NEC get, waiting will be the expect, we expect for release the report after NEC don't announce the result. Whether they get the projections, because look like how this, because these projections when you give the opposition bank on them say you already get the data. So by now, I'm not saying in a week to go now, we expect new for release their own data.
The data they out already.
So okay, so the data they all out already.
The data now, where they actually get, so they out already.
Okay. So now waiting with the I believe saying I don't create some amount of tensions, and new as themselves they act as a parallel, like when my brother say, like a parallel electoral commissions. So we expect for before, because as how it actually supposed to be, before then they announce the results, then they engage all the parties them were involved and the observers them and hang heads then before ever they make the pronouncement. But in this case, an office say new be there in a good speaking term with ECSL. So now they make themselves come out with their own projections. So me not go through it new their own data according to them. I don't know waiting they predict, waiting then data. So but me they look of the result. It was not timely. It was not timely.
If I can take from you, David, what you say they're supposed to observe and then they report. So this is not part of the report. You know, I agree with that as well.
Yes, not part of the report, but the report but newbie don't do this back in the past. They make projection like this, but you know happen back. So if we don't do that in the past. So what will be the expect? Then for the work with NEC and also whatever projections they get, they remain silent until NEC release the data. Because it appears as if now you usurp the power of NEC. And when only one electoral commission we get, my brother, now only one electoral commission we get. Whatever it is, we self get your observations as a media house. Other observers then get their own waiting then gather from the report. Me say personally, I get what I gather. So I be the wait where ECSL will release their own, then we go release we own report. So now that I be the expect from new.
So ECSL will release their own. Wait on your report say. When I get ECSL already release the wait on.
We not look at the data. Generally, we look at We not look at the data. Generally, we get a limitation. We look at the process itself, how the process, then the bottlenecks and the challenges and the things them way happen during election day. Now that's we look at generally. So, but we go come out and because we're a newspaper and media house. So whatever observations we get, we go release them to the public.
So, your observation all over the country, on just do like how they can do a survey, they take regional headquarters or districts or whatever. How on do you forget to
we get reporters them all over. So waiting we reporters then give we them feed we in our newsroom. We get for release the reports then they.
All right, okay. We actually don't come towards the end of the program today, so I will just come over to Una again. Alphonsus, we don't discuss in and out of this program. We don't discuss, the statements of the president. Don't discuss the new other observers. Them. We don't discuss citizens them as well. So going forward for the next 5 years as Sierra Leoneans, then, what thing you they expect from both the government and we, the citizens? Alfonso.
Let me just say something because I want run into discussion with somebody quick. Just one. I would say in the first place, before I give that response, I just want to inform the viewers or listeners and say the Human Rights Defenders Network. Now we are in partnership with ECSL. We signed an MOU, and we established now all the 16 districts of this country. Each district will get a district Human Rights Defenders Network. And before the elections, we train with human rights defenders observer them. We bring them all kind of material. We train them before they go observe the elections for this one. The 2018 election back, we observer and we produce a report. And this equally will get for make sure we'll get also publish a report. But that comes down to your question. Now, from the Amigo respond to your question in probably in 3 or 4 different. One, okay. From the civil society or human rights defenders perspective, from the citizens perspective, the government perspective, and the opposition perspective. So now from 4 angles.
What did you say?
We as a civil society, elections done. Now what we need for do when elections done? One, we get for look at what in the government gets as a manifesto, what they use for begin monitor the benchmark of the achievement of the development or the deliverables as civil society. The second thing what they do is how they ensure say government or political parties, the more the one that will commit electoral crimes, we hold them accountable as civil society. That is our role after the elections. Electoral crimes, not crimes, not to favor, not to anything, nobody, no sign. You not become a citizen or not go take a voter ID card for go vote, for me them go burn in house, then go beat them because you win. No, you get the right to protection. Will they ensure and engage the government for make sure they then people are get as civil society. The other thing they do as civil society is that for encourage communities for see how we go make use of the opportunity we don't get for ensure say the development program what the government they can.
All right, you watch we had Colores program on YouTube and on Facebook, and we guess Alphonsus Bani we David Wee from the Human Rights Defenders Network, and we as well get David Johnson we David Wee from Voice of Salon newspaper. They are two to talk about different issues then which around the electoral process and that of the results, and look at the other things. Then Alphonsus they actually struggle with the internet. If that be the case, I'll come to you, David, inside. Because seriously they struggle. David, waiting will be your own point before you go on them areas there.
On which area? Say it again.
Okay. The area of we actually want to look at waiting at the way forward. Waiting we as citizens and the government for get a better nation.
Yeah, we need we get for because the president already gets a manifesto during campaign time. So we need for watch whether if we get for fulfill whatever way it states in the manifesto, we get for watch if we get for improve on the economy, because the economy is in shambles. So we get for watch whether if we get for make a difference for improve the economy, especially the bread and butter issue, and we get for look in the area of other things the way talk about youth employment and other things the way it promised the people of Sierra Leone, if whether it get for actualize them promises then they. So now that's we get so we assess and we we there and they watch whether the president get for fulfill all of them promises then they, because that them promises then they, now them thing then they we get for all them accountable tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much, David Johnson. I hope that I no mistake by his surname. All right, thank you very much, and we appreciate your time with me inside the program. And they look forward again to get other kind of fruitful discussion as we go and we continue for watch, because as journalists, as civil society, as people we are citizen journalists as well, we get for looking at all the government to account, because now then they for take care of we responsibility and not to favor them they do. So we get for the make sure that we look at what they do and do what they are.
And a 5-year social contract, they don't sign with.
Yeah, so we and in
so
office
5-year social contract.
In any office, for example, the office will be the work, and by the end of every year, they get what they call appraisal. Where you come, you sit down with your boss. In the case of this one, now we the people that are the boss, you sit down on the scores, and then you see you perform well, you not perform well, waiting at the opportunities where you want for go with again in the next year. What you feel say, you get all of them things that they will have to sit down. So we just hope for the goodness of this country. If now 1 per year, say, Maada be able to sit down with we just sit down and talk. And see.
Good.
Yes.
And that's what they expect. And that's what they expect where we can get the media cocktail with the press.
Yes.
But
but you see that media cocktail, I think a whole discussion that one day where you come up with. So the media cocktail, rather than discussing with the president,
rather than they go and review newspaper, we expect them for talk and sit down at the table and talk to people waiting una, because now we there at the ground. Now we they get waiting people in the field. So we expect them for go listen this time to the media and get a round dialogue, not a monologue. With the media, let me get a dialogue.
Suggestion again. I think say the media self need for make that thing the better than how it be used to be. Because for me, that particular cocktail day, like we call them cocktail now, all about merriment. And not about reflection and then praises at some point, but we need for Sidom, like you yourself, not to just monk, for example, for the talks give speech, but also you Sidom like an engagement. Mr. President, this now what we know. So this we listen you. Now this we know. Now this you need for put in place. So not about that straight. I think it's about time we move away from that straight speech, and then after the speech nobody know ask question again. And see, because this we will tell you for real. We very much critical with government, and the reason being, we always want the government for pick up on certain areas then. Because, for example, you then a paper, for example, if every day number you staff then they praise you, get one staff where they tell you to, by God, you become misled by even you staff them. Because every day they praise you. What about the critical part? You need that. Even Naya South Africa ask something, what do we do wrong? How you feel so for doing? People they give me suggestion like every other day. Sometimes they say first we can some suggestion, and we can say okay, yeah, we don't hear it. Because whether suggestion good or not good, or listen to people. Not to just who that they praise you, who that will tell you say we deal with you. Listen to the opposing voice and views them as well. Because I will tell you for real, some of the things that we do in the last 3 years, if Maada be able to listen to some of them things, and they, if we're able to correct certain things there, and I bet you, I've been telling these people in the beginning, say, when Maada will come, for me, I've been say, if I don't be the kind of person where we all for be say, tell God thank you. Because, in as much as we look and so, the opposition, where they're in opposition, at one point, before they go in opposition, then we don't do things that we're not right. So we be feel since you don't see all of them things that they can, if I don't make things better. But unfortunately, it tell you about them things then they, but again, not the same things them they do. In fact, more than waiting than they don't do. So we just hope say this time around, focus on them bad things that they gain. It really, because especially now that we sit down at the international stage, you know, it get for live and we get for lead by example. For example, in just this election, we see people that all lost their life. And we all know that the people that the hands of who that, not to the police, but the presidential guards them. We see when they announce results, how the presidential guards them in the Eastern God, they dance. And our military and police people, they're not supposed to do that.
They must always be independent.
Especially now that we find ourselves in what we call Security Council. Then they look up to we for good example.
Yeah.
But unfortunate with what we don't see, the loss of lives, that the security sector enforces them, the engagement, the awareness, the statement them at some point. It's just that we not ready for something very good. But I look forward, say, Maada this time around, we're able to change the scenario for people then, and we go able for, because we really want for the country move in that kind of direction.
Exactly.
We all will say, yes, this is my president, this is my country. But unfortunately, I know for draw conclusion with waiting I see in the last 5 years and waiting we want for see. But again, they say, married with the streets, now from the Bachelor's Eve.
The Bachelor's Eve, yeah.
Plenty of time, then they will see presidents, then they work in the first term, and then the second term, because now exit, they not do well. But if Maada and then at that position of the exit way, where it performed like an exit, they were exit in the first term, we wish this second term not worst.
Yeah.
We wish. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me inside the program. Except if you get one or two other words you have for left before you go.
Oh, I just want to continue to talk to the people of Sierra Leone. Where we remain calm and maintain the peace, and I talk to the security apparatus, or let them behave professionally at this particular time.
All right. Thank you very much, David, for joining me inside the program. We appreciate your time with you one more time, and get yourself a good day. And we wish you all the best as you go about with your paper in production. Thank you very much. In name of David Johnson, in the Edman for Voice of Saloon, we join me inside the program. And the one we do left we, in name of Alfonso Bani, in the Edman for Human Rights Defenders Network. Thank you very much to you who don't join me inside the program, to you who don't like, to you who don't share, to you who don't comment. I know most of you are like the way the conversation goes, some of you are not like the way the conversation go, such as life, you know. Not so no more you get for time, like not all man go like what somebody they say, but please let me continue for support each other and make sure say we see our best we can transform we country. You know, thank you very much to all for joining me inside the program. One more time, Sembe Pay the freedom fighter. God bless you all.
Hello. It's good to see you all. Please have a seat. And I know you're saying to yourselves, make it short, Biden. There's a semifinal game coming up. I get it. I see Secretary Kerry over there nodding. Hey, John, how are you, pal? Well, I want to thank Secretary Mundo. She is one of the brightest and best folks I have working.
And please, very quickly before I finally drop the curtain down, I want to tell you, say later this afternoon we'll get focus and analyze the new national elections. Watch the own data we don't pull. A very, very much important for let we know about that particular data day. Yeah, so no know when we will go for discourse and then we will get for come on. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and turn on the notification. So anytime when we come on again, you'll be able to get them. All right. So one more time, thank you very much. I'm out.
Nation in the semifinals of the World Cup. Distinguished heads of state, leaders of regional and global institutions, and of course, representatives of more than 300 companies, African and American. Welcome to Washington. And I want to recognize our co-hosts, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the Corporate Council of Africa, two great champions for building and growing ties of business and trade and investment between Africa and the United States, as well as the members of my administration and the members of Congress who are here today. All the members of Congress, please stand up if you're here so I know can identify who you are.